Well, we're going to be.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So welcome to this first webinar of the new launch partner update series. My name is Guillaume Lépine. I am part of the Global Alliances team as a program manager. My apologies if our communication did not reach out to you the first time. We will work on this topic to improve for the next ones. Today's focus will be an update from John Sperling, Senior VP of Product Management. Just before handing the mic to him, Enrique Rodriguez, the new VP of Global Alliances, will say a few words, and I will complete the introduction of the partner update series. Kike, the mic is to you.
Very good, Guillaume. Good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for joining the call today. Since I've had the opportunity to meet many of you since I joined ARIS about 3 months ago, and in many of the conversations I've had with you, one of the common topics is we need more communication. We'd like to know more about the product roadmap, what's going on. We don't need to find out from our customers when we introduce, when new things are introduced to the market. We'd like to know more about significant wins, tips and techniques, best practices, and so on. So with that in mind, we're launching today this series of calls, webinars, and we're going to cover a series of topics, and Guillaume is going to share some of that with you. And we welcome your input as well. If there's anything specifically that you'd like to have covered, please get an email to the partner ID or to Guillaume directly, and we'll put it on the agenda. These sessions are really for your benefit. And also for our benefit, because we'll maintain an open communication channel on a regular basis with you. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn it back to Guillaume, and enjoy the call today. We'll welcome your feedback at the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as Kike mentioned, we will do the Q&A at the end of the webinar. You could do it through the Q&A functionality of the Zoom webinar. So just to say a few words about this partner update series. So this will be webinars that we will run every 2 weeks on Monday. So it will be a change in the day. Instead of Friday, we will do it Monday. Monday morning, US time, evening, Europe. The webinars will be dedicated to share information and knowledge about the partner community, the products, sales enablement, technical enablement, marketing, but also we will have webinars where you could choose or influence the topic that you would like to get. So this is the open classroom that you can see here on the screen. And there will be also webinars where you can have the mics for yourself in order to share something with the rest of the partner community. So we are currently finalizing the agenda for the quarter. and you should receive it very soon. So this will be communicated in 2 ways, through the newsletter and via direct emails. To complete the introduction, I just would like to make a quick reminder on one topic that is pretty important, the price list. Just in case that you did not either get the communication or that you did not open it. So there has been an update on the price list. It is available through the partner portal, so you can see it here on the screenshot that it is under the sales and marketing section. And this price list is effective since January 1st. So I'm done with the introduction, and I will turn the mic to John. So John, welcome.
Thank you, Guillaume.
And the audience to you.
Let me, okay. I guess you have to stop sharing so I can share. All right, so let's see here. So first of all, for those of you that may be new with Aeris, let me introduce myself, John Sperling. I lead product management, responsible for the overall product roadmap. I've been with the company 12 years now, about half the time the company's been around. I've seen a lot of growth in that period, and got some exciting things to share with you today. Actually, because there's so many things going on, I added one to the agenda that Guillaume sent out. So we'll be talking about the free edition. We're talking about the new topic is the new release schedule for the year, an update on the SOLIDWORKS PDM Pro connector, and some information about our simulation positioning. So let's get to it. Got a lot to cover. So Aeris Free Edition 2023 release. You may have seen information about this in December. If not, we'll go through it here and explain what this is about. So what is the free edition? We have provided the free edition since 2007. Now, I'll stop right there. And if you've been with Aeris a long time, you may not be familiar with that term. If you look in the lower right, we used to call this the open release. Okay, and then now you're nodding your head like, okay, yeah, I get it. Open release. Yes, we've had that like forever almost, seems like. It's an important part of our brand reputation. It's we believe it's a catalyst for growth. Tom Robleski, head of go-to-market, was very excited when he learned the details of what this is doing for Aeris. It allows us to show numbers like you see in that slide, which we're briefing to analysts in the market. So it's something that we're going to continue with, and we are now with this new release. So it's available for download. The way I like to think of it, it's a meaningful set of capability, can be used for testing out the software, can also be used for actual deployments because we don't limit the time or the number of users. So that policy has not changed. So it's basically, if you're familiar with the open release, it's the same thing, same basic functionality. But there's a little twist here that I'll get into, a little detail. So it's now available. We released it in just before the holidays. It's the first release we've had in over 2 years, so interest is high. I continually get questions about this. So glad we finally got it out. We took the opportunity to for doing this to improve our download page, and so we're capturing registration right there and the better information about what the release is. This is the first open release on the 14 platform. The last open release was 12SP9. That was quite a while ago. So excited to get the new technology out, new platform support for Windows 11, new release of Windows Server, et cetera. So this allows people that might want to use this to move forward on new infrastructure. So what's included? So the platform, what you get there is all of the low-code modeling, most of our platform services, certainly the open APIs, some of the new things. So when I say new in this release, I mean new since 12SP9, basically, what's accumulated since then that somebody from an open perspective might want to use. So a lot of productivity improvements. We have our new configurable dashboards in there. TDF enhancements, talk editor, and as I mentioned, the new platform support options. But importantly, all of the Eris applications are included. Okay, so there's no restriction. You can use TechDocs, you can use program management, requirements engineering, et cetera. Two new things that have come out since 12SP9 are our new variant management application, also our process engine. All of this is now installable using Eris updates. So what you do is you go to the website, you download the platform, install that, and then you use Eris update, which is also, that utility is downloadable from the website. And then it will automatically on the online tab here show you all of the versions of the product of these add-on applications that you can install. And again, there's no limitation. Certainly we want to go sell subscriptions, but we have the same value propositions we've always had. And yeah, so here's, like, if you click on variant management, you'll see the release to install there. So here's the one twist, and we call it the GM loophole here at Eris, because we have a notable customer. I'll still call them a customer because they are still using Eris Innovator. They're using the older free version. In the past, if you look at this diagram, what you see is a long history of our releases. Every dot is a release, and then every dot that has a circle around it was also an open release or a free release. And that's because every free release happened to also be a subscriber release. We just took a subscriber release and said, okay, that's going to be the latest free one. And so this allowed subscribers, if they were on one of those releases, they could actually technically get away with turning off subscription once they'd gone on subscription and continue to use it for free. That was never really the intent, but it was a loophole. Okay, so the board of directors gave me an assignment, which was, hey, go figure out how to close that loophole. So we did that. So the new way, and if you're wondering why we have this different name for the free edition called 2023 release, it is a distinct separate release. It is not the same as any other release. And because of that, because of our click-through agreement, it is not, if you're on an open or free release, you cannot, when you go on subscription, basically we give you a little utility to switch you over to a actual subscriber release, and you can't go back. Okay, so that was never the intent. Great, you can try it, you can use it, but if you go on subscription, you're on subscription. Okay, so that we want to now clearly enforce that policy. Then the other question, I guess, would be, what is subscriber only? What are the benefits beyond the free release? Well, there's a lot. So clearly on the product side, things that we control with our license key that you get when you become a subscriber, it's all of the 3D stuff. So 3D conversion and visualization, the PDF viewing and publishing and watermarking, all the visual collaboration, the discussion threads, Office Connector, our enterprise search, the full text search, and the higher level of component engineering. Some of the enterprise IT stuff, vault replication, data load, and one new thing in this release, in the 2023 release, my terminology mixed up, free edition, does not support external authentication. So that was one thing we put in there to give more incentive for IT groups that would really expect to have that capability. They have to become a subscriber to get that. Obviously, all of our cloud capabilities are not here. This is only for on-prem. And of course, on the services side, support, upgrades, training, SaaS, none of that is included with free. So we have a document. I believe Guillaume has a link in the note he sent out about this Eris subscriptions and explaining the difference between free and subscriber. And as I said, when they want to go to a subscription, it's basically within that Eris update tool. It'll just say, hey, you're flipped. I'll just mention now, because I know probably a handful of you are wondering, okay, so it's a different release. Well, what is it equivalent to roughly in terms of our subscriber releases? It is based off of release 23, which came out in October. the total coincidence that it was release 23 and now it's the year 23. They're not the same. They're equivalent. The functionality is the same. If someone goes on the free release and they become a subscriber, they flip a switch and they go to release 23. That's the way that works. But they can't churn. They can't continue to use it. It's legally and in the software a distinct release. Okay. All right. So that's free edition. Let's move off to our next topic. So when I was showing that history of all of our releases, I figured this is a good time to bring this one up. So you probably noticed recently that we've had a very rapid pace of release delivery, right? Every 5 weeks we've had a release. About a year ago or so, we switched to this new numbering scheme and rapid cadence. And, it was never the intent that any given customer would take every release, certainly. I mean, customers often wait, a year or two or more to upgrade. We get that. But the point was we would have very many points in time where we could release value, and then a customer, any given customer could choose at what time they would want to take a release. Well, but we heard, especially from many of you in the partner program, hey, we can't keep up. It's too confusing. There's too many releases. What do we do? Help. So we heard your cries for help. And what we've done is switch to a nice, easy to remember quarterly release. So starting this year, starting now, our next release will be, you see, we ended last year with release 25. We're going to continue with the numbering, so we're not changing the numbering scheme. Each release will be mid-quarter, so easy to remember when the releases are coming. So what we feel that this achieves is less frequently releases is less overhead. Less overhead for those of you partners that are building add-on products like connectors to be able to do support for those releases. Less overhead for our support team to deal with different releases of the product. Also, from a marketing standpoint, there's more value in each release to talk about. It's a lot easier to do a webinar on release 27 versus okay, we're going to pick 5 releases and talk about that kind of thing. So this was also driven by marketing, and we feel like a quarterly cadence is still a good pace. I would have to guess that's still probably better than most of our competitors, if not all. It's again easy to remember, still delivering a lot of value. Customers, the challenge I have is not wanting to wait too long to deliver some new enhancement in the product. So waiting 3 months is not too bad. So that's the new plan. I don't have time today to talk about the roadmap, but the other benefit of this, I feel, is we will be able to talk more specifically about the enhancements coming in each release. So maybe a good topic for the next session. So that's planned for this year, and we'll move on to the next topic. So we'll talk a little bit about some important changes here with this product that we've had for many years, the SOLIDWORKS PDM Pro connector. This is one CAD connector that Aeris has developed internally, which is going from the SOLIDWORKS PDM system. It's not a direct connector. It's going through PDM into Innovator. So we've had this for over 10 years. It was one of the first products I worked on when I joined Aeris. We've been developing this through our membership in the SOLIDWORKS Partner Program. Well, we were notified by Dassault that they were revoking our membership in the partner program and that we would not be able to further develop and sell the connector, and furthermore, not be able to support existing customers after this March. So we looked at our options for potentially continuing it or whatever, but we finally decided, a difficult decision, that we need to end of life the product immediately. We just really couldn't find an approach that would provide necessary product capability and quality for that everyone's come to expect for the product. So we are currently working with existing customers on transition planning, and some of those are with partners. So I'm working with that, and what our plan is, and the plan going forward for SOLIDWORKS integration is to work with the direct SolidWorks connectors, we have a number of them from XPLM and SIG and Focus, et cetera. So some options there. So that will be our strategy going forward for SolidWorks. And please get to know our new ARIS product manager for CAD connectors. Alexander, if you want to show your face on camera, you can. We'll come back at the end and do Q&A on this, but we've got Alexander on the call here, so we can come back to this topic if we need to. But Alexander's got deep experience in CAD and PLM. He's based near our Lyon, France office, which seems to be a hotbed of CAD in the world. So glad, a great addition this past year. So please get to know Alexander when it comes to anything around CAD. All right, we'll move on and get to our last topic here, which is our simulation positioning. So this is something that over the past few years, we have been moving into this area of simulation. You may remember a few years back, we acquired a small company, Comet Solutions. From that, we announced our intentions to move into simulation management. We released a product called Simulation Management Application. But we've had a shift of our positioning that I want to explain. And if you're familiar with that past history, this will be different than what we used to talk about. So, but I think when you see how I explain how we are going to go forward with this, it'll hopefully make a lot of sense. So to explain this, I want to kind of step back and think about how ARIS plays in the larger ecosystem of applications and products that companies use to do their product development. So one term we like to talk about ARIS as is a product innovation platform. So this is the value that they can get out of this product innovation platform is listed here. And obviously we integrate to numerous authoring systems or content creation systems or whatever you want to call them, things that experts are working on, CAD, MBSE, whatever, to create product data that eventually ends up in the product innovation platform and tied together with the digital thread. So authoring of this complex engineering content is not a space we play in. So CAD, we don't have a CAD system. That's not how ARIS started. We didn't start at that angle. So this term I put here, science of engineering, about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, we had a marketing campaign called Business of Engineering. That was our focus, is the business of engineering, not the science of engineering. And that still holds true. It's not a marketing slogan anymore, but we still sort of talk that way, is that there's a lot of business around engineering, and that's what we focus on, and not this advanced authoring tools, et cetera. So to state it more to the point with simulation is not our core competency. SPDM is not our goal. Simulation process and data management is not our goal. And I'll explain more about what SPDM is if you're not familiar. But so this is the positioning essentially. Let me explain why it is this. So let's take a look at that product innovation platform. So when you think about authoring or content creation, there's certainly some things that we do in ARIS that could be considered authoring, right? We author parts and bombs. We author variants now with the new VM application. We actually have relatively complex editors to create that content. We author tech docs, certainly. We have built-in document creation right in the ARIS Innovator web client. And you can think of in our quality management, we have FMEA documents. That's another thing we author. But there's a whole lot more we don't author, right? We and this is a picture of a lot of things across the board: MBSE, ALM, software artifacts, MCAD, ECAD, et cetera, all across the board. Now, and at the other side, we've got ERP and the downstream stuff that we don't do in ARIS either. But there are some variations on this, certainly, with requirements. Obviously, another option is that we can author those directly with requirements engineering. There's variations on what we do with CAD, whether going through a PDM, as we were just talking about with SOLIDWORKS PDM Pro, or going directly with a direct SOLIDWORKS connector. There's some options there. But when it comes to simulation, this is our clear strategy, that we are not going to either create simulation tools or an SPDM system. So let's get further into that. So by analogy, I want to explain the strategy. So when you think about our ARIS applications, they are forming a data model connected together to form the digital thread across multiple domains. And I've got, a few of those item types shown here across 4 of our applications, not every item type in those applications, but you get the idea how things are linked together. So let's look at how that digital thread in Innovator relates to the authoring tools. So we'll start with CAD, because I think people tend to understand CAD the best here. So you're off here, CAD author building their CAD model in the CAD tool, wrapped perhaps in a PDM system with an integration into ARIS. So, well, why do we do that? What's the value there? So first of all, you can think of someone that we can call a CAD consumer, somebody consuming that information. Because they want to see change in release information about that as it combines with the part bomb, for example, or they want to do visualization. Obviously, we don't want those people to have to learn a CAD tool. We want them to have a simple way to visualize the data. We want to integrate the process across domains, use that 3D data for other things across all other aspects of the enterprise doing the product development. So that's one example. Let's take another example, MBSE. We don't provide an MBSE tool, but if you want, you can go get an integration from XPLM to integrate NoMagic tools into ARIS, and the diagrams come in for visualization. You get, again, the change in release management aspect of those artifacts and process integration. Same basic idea, right? Expert tools, complex tools, not created by ARIS, being integrated in, providing value. So SPDM and simulation is basically the same idea. So we have simulation tools, a whole lot of them, right? You've got meshing tools, solvers, post-processors, all kinds of things, and that can be wrapped in a SPDM system and brought into ARIS to provide all those same types of benefits to a simulation consumer, the change in release management, visualization, collaboration. We already have, if you're not aware, we have an integration to the vCollab simulation viewer in ARIS. That's no extra cost, it's just there. Visual collaboration works with that. Reports. So many of the outputs of simulation will be reports and results, what we would call actionable results. Did the value of the maximum stress exceed the requirement or what have you? And that goes into Innovator and can be used to drive the process. So one example of this is ANSYS and ANSYS Minerva. So I think probably most are aware that we have a OEM partnership with ANSYS. They provide a tool based on the ARIS Innovator platform called Minerva, and it is an SPDM tool. And it provides specialized functionality for managing simulation files, simulation models. And while it's based on ARIS, it is very different. I don't know if you should check out a demo of it if you haven't seen it. It's pretty cool. ANSYS has done a great job of adding simulation-specific functionality, user interface, et cetera, that is supporting the analysts as they do their simulation work. But just as with CAD, the story doesn't end there. We bring the data in and we do all those things with that data. So, but ANSYS is just one example. So here's the picture we see for how ARIS and our simulation management application play with SPDM systems. So ANSYS Minerva is just one. Now, certainly they're a strong partner that we go to market with, but there are others, right? So the point is that we're not trying to go off and build the very detailed functionality in here, just like we don't go off and build CAD systems or CAD PDMs, right? It's just not our focus. So that's the big picture. Let me wrap up with the simulation positioning slide. So ARIS provides the basis of integration with SPDM systems using simulation-specific data model to enrich the digital thread and support decision-making in the enterprise. We're agnostic with respect to SPDM systems and simulation tools. We do not intend to build our own SPDM functionality. Now, if you would have looked at our website 6 months ago, you might have thought that we were trying to do that. And at one point, that was our strategy. After the acquisition of Comet, if you were at ACE conferences 3-4 years ago, you would have heard me talking about incorporating the Comet capability into Aris and trying to build that type of functionality. We made a conscious decision that with our partnership with Ansys and with our knowledge, expertise, our focus, that we really see the value of what Aris does the way I've described it, with the management of all that data in the larger digital thread. So we have been making updates such as already to the Aris website. We turned off Comet Solutions so as not to confuse things anymore. I actually briefed these same slides to the go-to-market team a couple of days ago, and here we are today. So the other part of this is that we want to re-energize our partnership with Ansys. We've been working with Ansys for a few years. Honestly, they were confused, just like maybe you were, about what our intentions were with simulation. So we feel like we're better together working with SPDM and PLM. But in all fairness, Ansys is not the only player in that. And so if you see requirements from customers that are, not using Ansys tools or whatever, certainly we can look at other options, but we're not going to say that Aris is trying to do all of this, right? That's not on our product roadmap at all. So just to mention, we are working with Ansys and XPLM on integration strategy. And because Ansys, has customers that don't have Aris Innovator, they are certainly, working with other PLM vendors to provide an integration. But naturally, because we're talking about Ansys Minerva and Aris Innovator being built on the same platform, you might expect us to have a better integration than any of the other PLM players. And that's the goal we have being worked on right now. So I wanted to introduce our simulation PM, Matteo Nikolic. He's based in Italy, and he is working on the work with Ansys as well as the simulation management product itself that we have, and can be brought in to, with customer engagements, or just if you need to understand more about the product. He's got a much deeper dive on this than what I've just showed you. If you want to know the details behind it, please reach out to him. And with that, I will stop sharing and open this up to Q&A. So we're gonna check our chat here. If you haven't already, stop sharing. Please feel free to put questions in.
Thank you.
Alexander, you can come on video too. Cool.
So thanks a lot, John. So we do have a couple of questions. So the first one is about the release of Innovator 26.
Yep.
And the question is to know if we have already
yes,
something.
I got it. I mean, I'm looking at the questions here. So yes, it's a very easy way to calculate the release date now. The logic is it is the Monday closest to the middle of the quarter. So it will be February 13th is the release date. Release 27 will be May 15th, and you can probably figure out the rest. Now, if you look at our public roadmap, we don't put specific dates because those are our targets. Occasionally we can slip if we run into technical difficulties, but generally we don't. We've been pretty good about hitting our dates. But yeah, it's mid-quarter. The Monday of the mid-quarter is your algorithm. And I'll just read through these. About the free release 2023, is there a time limit for using it? No, we have customers. Well, we'll call them customers. They don't pay subscription, but that are using the free version indefinitely. So no time limit, no user limit. The limits are essentially the difference between the free and the subscriber that I showed. All the additional value like 3D viewing and Office Connector and all those other things. Let's see. Some of these are going to be technical.
Yeah, the next one is a little bit more technical. It's about the IOM DLL that apparently was not part of the pre-2023 release, and that is needed to build connectors.
Okay, I'll have to get an answer to that. I'm not sure. That's interesting. So free edition, John said that 2023 plus subscription equals release 23. Is it exactly the same as release 23? Yeah, from a functionality, from a code base, it is the same as release 23. But because if you go in and install the free edition, you'll see a help about, you'll see a different tag. It's a different build number. We can track that. We know if somebody would try to go off and use it for free, that we're not going to allow that. So yeah, we've closed that loophole.
I see that Mateo is typing an answer for the prior question there from Graham. Okay.
Oh yes, I can answer verbally and then
go ahead.
finish to type. Yeah, that's exactly part of the strategy. I mean, integrating with the SPDM solution allow us to stay a little bit farther from connecting to specific tool directly. So we'll limit that risk of being locked out. So Minerva has integration with a lot of other tools, and we already have capability to integrate with potentially through the API to other SPDM solution. And we don't need anymore the direct connection to a specific tool, which is the one that, for example, is the risk in terms of partnership like the SOAP did. So that's exactly part of the focusing on the managing on information and allow the integration through the openness of our platform to partner.
Okay, thank you, Mateo. Question about, sounds like free and open are still pretty much the same functionality. They are exactly the same thing. It's just, it's a marketing change. We, again, if you've been around Eris a long time, the term open was a big thing for us. Open APIs, open communication, open everything. Last year, actually, we moved to the term free it was actually the same time we moved to our standard and enterprise subscriptions, and then free edition being the other one. It's just a more standard terminology in the industry that we moved to. Anything else? There's a question about Eris and Minerva subscriptions. Yeah.
The answer to that one is the Minerva SPDM solution has an OEM component, which is Eris underneath, embedded as part of the solution. So when they buy Minerva SPDM, they're buying the ANSYS product. They don't need to pay an additional license to Eris for that functionality that's part of that product. They just buy the product from SPDM. Now, what they cannot do is use that product now to run a PLM function, if you will, pure PLM solution in the enterprise. They would still need the PLM license if that's what they intend to do, right? So Minerva SPDM will be a limited use license that it's embedded within the ANSYS product, and then you would need the Eris PLM for a full function PLM solution.
Yeah, they are distinct products. Early on, we had explored with ANSYS the possibility to offer their product as, think of it more like an application on top of an Eris Innovator instance. That's not the approach we've gone with. It's just two different systems. The fact that they're Eris under the covers, okay, great. It will allow us to have a better integration, but they need the flexibility on their side to work with other systems. So we agreed that that was the approach. So yes, there will be. You're buying two different systems for two different things.
Yeah.
I saw another one here about an interesting one. I'll read it as it stated. To what release is SPDM deprecated? There are certainly some customers on Aris SPDM. Do they move to Ansys Minerva? What transition does Aris offer here? Well, I hate to tell you, there is no such thing as Aris SPDM. There is an Aris simulation management application that continues. That's part of our strategy. It was always part of our strategy. If there's a customer doing something with SPDM functionality, that is custom. That's something done at that customer. It's not standard product, so that would continue. You might want to reach out to Matteo for further details. I guess I'm not sure, in what context we're talking about here, but there is no product called Aris SPDM.
Very quickly, the simulation management official application is the foundation to integrate with Minerva and others, so it will not be deprecated or removed. It will actually potentially be extended to facilitate the integration, but will not cover pure SPDM functionality, as I've explained.
All right. There's a number of questions, some of which are off topic, so I'm not going to get into those here. They're on other Aris things, which we can follow up on certainly, but I don't want to take the session down a different path here. Just looking for anything else here. Matteo, anything else you want to add in general? Just general comments about simulation? Feel free.
No, please feel free to reach out to me or through the Global Alliance Partnership in terms of understanding better the relationship. We are going to have a demo series during this year that will include the integration between Ansys Innovator and Aris Innovator and Ansys Minerva in order to show the full scenario and workflow, and this will support better understanding of the capabilities and the power of the two platforms together and the flexibility that customer will have with this.
Alexander, maybe you could say a few words about your work with all of the CAD connector partners so far since you joined.
Yeah, thank you, John. So I see some of the people that we know each other, and we discuss each week. We have a regular meeting with partners regarding CAD, CAD stuff, CAD project, CAD connectors, and we are working together to find the best solution of integration with Aris regarding the whole market. So even with external, let's say, competition to Aris. So we are also dealing with some customer situations sometimes. So really feel free to contact me if you have any question related to CAD. So we can work together, and I can be added value even for customers. So
Alexander has a long history of working with customers, so he's been there, done that before. So please reach out. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Just there is a question here. I mean, it's not on the topic, but can people on the free edition attend free training?
Well, I'm not sure what free training. We have free training for subscribers. We don't have free training for free users. I believe we're set up that if someone using the free edition could attend our standard training for a cost. Yeah, they could pay to go to training, certainly.
Yeah, so if you are not a subscriber, you can register, but there is an additional cost to register to a training.
Then there's another question here that's anonymous. Is there a plan to move partners to Aris Salesforce CRM system? And then it goes into getting more visibility to accounts, et cetera. So there is a plan to migrate all of our CRMs for partners from MyEye to Salesforce. That plan is to be executed later in the year, probably around the second or third quarter. The details of what's going to be visible and what's not going to be visible, it's still to be worked out. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more, or the next call we'll talk a little bit more about something that we're doing to give the partners a little bit more flexibility in terms of where they can participate. You are very familiar with the account registration process. we will be introducing an opportunity registration process, and we'll cover that with everybody later. Okay.
I want to take a question here back on the topic of, essentially on the topic of free and subscriber versions. So the question states, let's assume we have a customer who is on ARIS subscription version 25. After a few years, they don't want to continue to subscription. What is the way forward for them? Yeah, it's pretty simple. If they stop paying us for subscription, then their system will stop, but not immediately. We will certainly work with them to migrate their data off and that sort of thing. But they can't just keep using the software for free. I think there was this sort of assumption that free meant not only that you could start with free and evaluate or use it that way, but that you could go off subscription and keep using it for free. That is not the case. And, you know, so the next question might be, well, could they do an upgrade somehow or a migration to the 2023 release and continue to use it for free? Yeah, they could do that on their own. We're not going to support them in that. It's a huge effort to do that. Our job is not to make life easier for people going off subscription. So that is the one new policy change that we have. Effectively, it has always been our policy. It's just that we had a loophole. See if there's anything else new. Will the free version be updated, say annually, or will it remain 2023 for the foreseeable future? Good question. Yeah, it took us a while to get to this one. Our policy in the past has been roughly one version a year. The thing is that going forward, you may be aware that we have a big push for SaaS, for our Enterprise Edition. We could see in the future that we might be going with more of a SaaS, cloud-based trials of the software. Certainly, we're not going to have a free version on SaaS. That would cost us a lot of money. So, but yeah, we don't know how that's going to play out. Don't have a next release definitely committed at this point. But now that we've reestablished this process, yeah, we'll see when we feel there's a need for enough new additions that we'd want to offer a new free version coming up in the future. I'm still reading here. I don't see anything more coming in.
There was one question that addressed to me from Jose, I think it is, and I just replied online. So in case, I know I've met a lot of the partners. I haven't met everybody. Those of you that I haven't met, let me just take a 30 seconds to introduce myself. I joined ARIS the middle of October of last year. And I am the Vice President of Global Alliances for ARIS. I've been in the industry for 42 years, different parts of 34 years at IBM. Then I went to a supply chain company where I was a CRO. And then prior to coming to ARIS, my last role was running the America sales for PTC. And then feel free to reach out at any point if you want to have a call with me, okay? Thank you.
Got an important question that came up here since I brought up SaaS, our enterprise SaaS offering. So the question is, does SaaS version of ARIS contain all modules, TechPubs, enterprise search, et cetera? Absolutely. ARIS's strategy, enterprise SaaS, is completely full function. It's the complete same product as what you would do on premise. We are the only one doing that. We have re-architected our entire stack to be containerized, contains everything you have in the standard subscription. It's just that we're doing the hosting for you, providing all the services, all the, you don't have to have your data center, right? So yeah, we can't emphasize that strongly enough. We probably have to have a SaaS session here at some point in the future to explain again the power of our enterprise offering.
And there was also a question about a customer or a prospect working on a free release that wants to go on subscription. So I think we mentioned that there are some tools to migrate them to subscriber edition. There is the question if that is services or if it is for free that we are doing this upgrade to a subscriber release.
So just the mere fact of saying that, okay, you've got this environment that say you've customized on 2023 release and you want to go on subscription. Yeah, that's basically you sign the paperwork, give us a PO, we'll give you back the button to push to make it a subscription release. It's effectively release 23. So it'll flip it from 2023 release to release 23, and you keep running now with your subscription.
And when you think about it, I mean, a customer who has gone that far to do all of the things that John just described, they have already invested about 70 to 80% of the cost, right? Setting up the server, security, loading the database, training their users, et cetera, et cetera. For another small incremental amount, they get the subscription with the incremental capabilities that come with that subscription, including support, free education, and some of the other things that you saw in one of the prior charts. So, it's not like they have to go buy the whole PLM system. They've already made significant investments into that journey, and all they need to do now is for a marginal incremental, get the incremental capabilities that we discussed.
Thanks, Kike. I think it's very good. Right.
Let's see, any other question here? I mean, we have a lot of questions, and by the way, I appreciate the interest and the questions. If we haven't gotten to all of them, I don't know if we can print this here, capture it, and make sure that we post answers to the questions later on in our newsletter and website.
Yeah, so the record of this session will be shared. It will be communicated through the newsletter, and it should be shared through the partner portal. And I will print the different questions and bring an answer to the different ones.
Excellent.
As well with a description of the record.
Excellent. Okay.
Good.
Let's. What else do we have? Yeah.
I don't see any other questions here that are relevant to our discussion today. I do see questions about other things on our roadmap, which, yeah, I would love to come back and talk to you about upcoming topics like our reporting and our new responsive form editor and other exciting things we have on our roadmap, but topic for another day. So happy to come back.
We're going to take you up on that. I mean, we're going to have these calls every 2 weeks. So we'll give you another chance to come back and cover some other relevant topics that are of interest to our partners.
So thank you very much also for your attendance and for your time. Thank you very much, John, Matteo, Alexandre, and Kike for your time as well. And we will stop the webinar here. Thank you very much, and have a very good day.
Yeah, and thank you to our partners for joining. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.